What's up, mortgage coach community? Dave Savage with Steve Brown, the bald futurist. What's up, buddy?
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, man. Uh, Thanks for getting back to me earlier in the week. And it occurred to me, I have a lot of unanswered questions, like I think a lot of people do in this world. What does this mean? What does the future look like? And I almost wanted to just stop talking and say, hey, let's do this live on the Mortgage Coach channel. So thanks for making time today.
Yeah, my pleasure. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about, we're in a crazy time right now. What does it mean for us all? What will it mean for the way that consumers behave? What will it mean for the way businesses operate? What does it mean generally? I mean, this is going to have long-lasting effects, and some of them good, some of them not so good. Well, let's say not so good, let's say challenging. So yeah, let's talk.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to applaud you for your virtual background. I was looking around for, I got to get a quick picture of this. This is just too good. I was looking around for a book, going, I got to have his book. And I should have known I don't need to have your book, you know? I'm not going to need to share my screen. There's that beautiful book, and I love that color and all the colors from the book, man. It's beautiful.
And I'm wearing my Super Nice Club t-shirt as well. So I'm proud to be a member.
So am I, wearing it strong. So before we get into the innovation, let's talk about Super Nice Club. So I am thinking, and Mortgage Coach community, let me know if you like the idea, to do this end of day, 3 o'clock Friday call. I'm not going to commit to another piece of content forever, but I do think, like, right now in the world that we live in today, we need to celebrate being super nice and look for stories of mortgage professionals and realtors being super nice in the marketplace. Because here's the deal: mortgage people and real estate people have jobs, and mortgage people are having record-breaking success. So I think we need to raise the bar of being super nice to local businesses and to local service provider and family and friends that can use some help right now. So Mortgage Coach, if you like the idea of 3 o'clock, 30 minutes, celebrate something super nice, let me know down below. Say, Dave, I love the idea. And if you have a story to share and you want me to shine a light on something that you think is super nice, put it down below. So Steve, what have you done that's super nice lately? Just curious. Assuming you've done anything that's super nice.
Yeah, I try to make sure that I reach out to all the people I know who live alone, and do that on a regular basis, just to check in, see how they're doing, send them something funny, engage them, call them, FaceTime them, Zoom them, whatever it might be, to let them know that they're not alone. So that's probably the primary thing that I do. And then I've also taken to giving COVID-19 gifts. And I think that the best COVID-19 gift right now that I give is a little tripod. So it's a little tripod that you can strap your phone into. So for those virtual happy hours, anybody that I call for a virtual happy hour, and their phone's all over the place and you can tell their arms are getting tired, I'm on Amazon quietly sending them a tripod in the background. So to me, that's been the coronavirus gift that keeps on giving, because the next time I have a happy hour with them, everything's rock solid, they're chilled out, they've got their cocktails. So that's the one I recommend for everybody.
I love that. Would you mind maybe taking a picture of it and sharing it in the group? I want to know which one.
Yeah, I'll put a link in there.
I want to know which one Steve Brown is getting out. And I love that, because we need to teach people how to connect virtually. And one of the things we've been talking about in the Mortgage Coach community is like how important eye contact is. And so many people aren't used to, like, the camera is the eye contact. You're talking to someone and they're just like this the whole time. And you're like, do you have two screens? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm over here.
Yeah.
So
the other favorite one is, hey, how are you, everybody?
Yeah, right. Could you adjust your camera, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So I just wrote an article, and in the writing of that article last weekend, I wrote 30 days of quarantine has changed customer experience and expectation forever. And I thought it was pretty catchy. I was like, ooh, that's catchy. But I guess I want to soundboard with you. Is that true? Do you think that that's an absolute truth?
Certainly. I mean, 30 days is optimistic. Try 300. because this is going to keep coming and going, I think, until we have a vaccine. And not only do we have a vaccine, but we can make billions of vaccine doses and then distribute them around the world. So this is going to be something that ebbs and flows for a while. Has it changed the way that everybody sees the world? Of course. So the way I've been thinking about this pandemic is sort of through three lenses. The first one is, this is the great pause. So this is a time when we've all been forced, whether we liked it or not, to reflect on the world and on our values and what is really, truly important to us all. And that is true of individuals. It's also true of businesses. And what I mean by that is that the fragility of the modern world has been laid bare before us, right? Or any illusion that the world was this unstoppable machine has gone. It's just evaporated in front of our eyes. And so we're all feeling a lack of control over our lives. And so I think you're going to see consumers make moves in ways big and small to try and restore some sense of feeling of control back into their lives. We can talk about that more. For businesses, they are realizing that not only is the world order, the world system, kind of fragile in your American terminology. In England, we still say fragile. It's very, very, very British. Not only is the world fragile, but businesses have been demonstrated to be fragile, right? They were not ready for this, and they've had to scramble. And that fragility shows up in lots of different ways. There's financial fragility, the fact that some companies had such little cash on hand or so little inventory because they're running a JIT system or something like that, that, a week of disruption and they had to lay people off. That is not a resilient business. So, the debt to loan ratios that businesses have has to change the same way that I think consumers, individuals, we're reflecting on that and thinking, you know what, maybe I need to have as much money as I can in the bank so that if something goes pear-shaped, I can survive for 3 months or 6 months or a year. And not many people are in that kind of position today. The other thing that
can I pause on that real quick?
Yeah,
because I think that particular point is so on point for lenders and mortgage professionals. And we always ask families, or we're evaluating what their cash reserves are from a qualification standpoint. Like, do you qualify for a loan? And Dave Ramsey and many financial planners would say, hey, you got to have 3 months of cash reserves for emergencies and opportunities. And I know that that's always been a question within loan officers' dialogue with a family when they're connecting with them and when they're qualifying them. Guys, it's going to be a whole different conversation. Like where the consumer's coming from and your ability to show up with empathy and leadership when having that conversation with families is just a massive opportunity right now. It's a massive opportunity to go beyond qualifying for a loan and to say, you know what, I'm here to help you build wealth with real estate. And that means we need to be ready for emergencies. And that's no longer this emergencies. It's like, dude, emergencies and opportunities, and then get into the other cornerstones to making smart mortgage decisions. Evaluating the cost of the debt over time, evaluating all debt, credit cards, student loans, always looking for strategies to prepay the loan. So Mortgage Coach community, we have what we publish, the 4 strategies to smart mortgage decisions. I'm going to put a link or just an image of it in comments down below, but I just want you to pause, because what Steve just said is just like, it's not like, oh, that's a good idea coming out of this. Like, that's a good idea for your next borrower conversation.
Absolutely.
So keep going. I just didn't want that to get lost.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for a subset of the population, that is crucial. And if your people can step up and help people think through those kind of financial questions, and to try and make sure that they are using property to build wealth and they're using it to ensure that they have that resilience that financial resilience, and that's great. We live in a society where in this country, roughly half the people say if they had a $600 bill, they couldn't pay it. So we have an inequality issue in this country that also needs to be addressed, but that's not something that mortgage coach customers can do other than maybe at the ballot box. So let's get the financial side thing aside. I think the other thing that is really clear out of this in terms of building resilience into business, I mean, there's some things to do with, if you're a manufacturing business, you've got to think about your supply chains differently. You may want to geographically distribute to build more resilience into your business. But the biggest change, I think, for almost every business on the planet is that COVID-19, think of it as the great accelerator. So things that were going to happen anyway are just going to happen an awful lot quicker. What do I mean by that? Automation efforts, digitization efforts, because that is another way of building resilience into business. And in the mortgage sector, that is more important than ever. Having a customer journey, which from awareness of your organization all the way through customer acquisition, purchase, delivery of service, through customer service after purchase, through to loyalty programs, all of that end to end has to be digital going forward, has to be for every business on the planet. Now think about what that means in the mortgage sector. That means you've got to make sure you're delivering digital experiences at every point in the customer journey. And for a business that runs largely on paperwork, for significant portions of the journey, that's a problem. Now, Mortgage Coach is in a great position because guess what? You're stepping up to deliver a part of that customer journey and make it digital and make it a really powerful piece of the conversation. So what you're doing with Mortgage Coach should be sort of an indication of what should be possible. You need to mortgage coach eyes throughout the entire customer journey. And that's true not just mortgage business, but every industry on the planet.
Yeah, no, agreed. Would you say, I think at least 10 years of digital adoption has taken place, right now, literally, to your point, doors aren't opening up and we're not getting back to business as normal. My son is going to go to Syracuse in the fall, and we've already found out that we need to shop for a mask. If classes are back in, students will be required to wear a mask on campus. I don't think that's formally been announced, but they're telling us, we're going through the administration program and we're getting some masks. And so there's not going to be any rock concerts this year. There's not going to be any large sporting events. So who knows how we're going to get back, but it's going to take longer. But do you think it's safe to assume by the time we get through this, there's been a decade of digital adoption take place within a matter of
I don't know
days
about that.
to months?
Yeah, I mean, so the book I wrote, which you can see right here, that was targeted at a decade time frame. And some of the stuff I write about in there, I mean, it's pretty amazing stuff that I think is going to happen in the next decade. We were going to see more transformation of business because of technology in this decade than we had seen in the last 4 decades. I now think that accelerates even more. So that 10-year time frame maybe happens now in the next 5 or 6.
Okay, so there you go. So 5 or 6, yeah. And
so it's a 2x acceleration at least, and some things will happen even sooner. And let me give you some examples. So you talked about your son going away to school. I mean, there's the mask bit, and that will come and go over the next couple of years. But there are going to be lasting implications for education because there's a new normal in play now. Now that teachers have had to learn how to use online teaching tools, kids have used it, got to learn how to use it. Teachers have figured out how to get the most out of that platform. And the infrastructure investments have been made, and the cultural practice is the way that an anthropologist would describe this. It become a cultural practice. It's going to be hard to go back to classrooms only. It will forever become a component of an education going forward. Now, the implication for that, if you are going to Harvard, and take an extreme example, and paying $200,000, $300,000 for your education, and let's say half of that is done digitally, Do you feel like you're getting your $300,000 worth? No, because for whatever reason, in-person education we value more highly than digital education, even though it's giving you the same skills, the same insights, the same connection with a teacher. They're just the other side of a video screen. So I think it's going to put pressure as things digitize. It puts price pressure on things. You look at telehealth, right? Normally, if you were sick, you had to drag your butt into a doctor's office surrounded by other sick people. And now you can just get them on the phone. You can have a face-to-face. You can do some level of diagnostics over the phone. Much more convenient. I'm not being exposed to people. Why wasn't that something that was pushed before? Well, the answer is because health insurance companies did not reimburse doctors at the same level as an in-person doctor visit. Ta-da! So you fix that problem, and suddenly now everybody can use this thing to make doctor visits, at least some of them, and it becomes an important and ongoing cultural practice and a normal part of how we stay healthy. So
Wow.
just two examples, right? We're not going back. People aren't going to go, well, that telehealth thing was crap, right? They're going to go, that's really cool. I know how to use it now. It's valuable to me. I'm going to keep doing it. So that's why this is going to set a new normal. Home grocery deliveries, right? Now people have figured out how to go on to their local grocery store website, order groceries and have them delivered to their front door. That's really convenient. And once I've put in my standard things that I want every week, it's already done. It's just I press a button and they come. So a lot of these things are going to be just the new normal going forward. The question for the mortgage business is, what will the new normals be for the mortgage industry?
So let's talk about that for the next, I don't know, 10 minutes. I asked you for 30 minutes. I want to honor that at least within 5 minutes of that. And mortgage coach community, whether you're live watching this in our Facebook group, Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind, or you're listening to the recording either in our group or our YouTube channel, if you've got a question for Steve, put it down below. And even if it's not live, we'll either try to answer it via text, or I'll try to get Steve back into a conversation like this. So ask us any questions you have, please do. So I have this question. So right now I have been interviewing a lot of top performing loan officers that help, a loan officer that helps over 100 families a year. That's top 1%. And I've interviewed a bunch of them just over the past week to 2 weeks. And not all of them, but several of them used to meet with 80, 70% of their clients in person. And part of that was it made the transaction more efficient. And part of that was I had the highest conversion. Like if I just talk to a person over the phone, they might rate shop me, they might go with me, they might not. But if they came into my office and we spent time together, we bonded more, they were more invested, my conversion went up. And I personally believe that even after we get on the other side of this, whether it's a month from now, a week from now, or 8 months from now, that will probably always be the best conversion. Like if a family invests to come into your office, getting knee to knee, you're between their investment and your bond, it'll be the best. But I think everybody knows about Zoom now. Grandmas know about Zoom because they're going to birthday parties. And it's just going to be much more of a commonplace. Do you want to jump on Zoom or whatever virtual experience or meet? What are your thoughts on that? And how much, if you had to project, is that going to be the new norm for services, financial planners, CPAs, real estate professionals, mortgage professionals? What are your thoughts on that?
I think about the way I did my taxes this year. I always used to go into the office, have a conversation with my tax preparer, who's awesome. And I'd hand over all my documents physically, and he would do my taxes. And then, a couple of weeks later, I'd get some document through the post that I would sign. I did it all electronically this year. And I think I will always do it that way. I just scanned all my documents, sent them off. I don't need to keep them anymore because I have them all digitally. It's much neater and tidier. It was much more efficient. And I didn't have to get in my car and drive on the freeway and go to his office, make an appointment, all of that stuff. So yes, having an in-person connection can be very important to building a relationship that you can then leverage to close more. But that's not taking into account what your customer may want. They may not want to have to get in a car, figure out childcare, whatever it might be, to, you know, to get themselves to your office so that you can bond with them. They may want that, and if they do, give them that choice, but also give them the choice to talk to them over Zoom. You will get probably 80% of the benefit because it's all about eye contact and building a personal rapport. You don't get to shake their hand, but maybe we don't want to do that anymore. But having eye
Fist bump
contact,
or elbow?
yeah, yeah,
Fist bump, elbow.
or just the best one is just waving.
No,
Waving
no,
as well.
no. The best one is a fist bump. I
You're
beg
still
to differ.
touching me, dude. No.
Well, okay, we'll do an air fist bump. Like we'll get like that close to each other.
Okay. But anyway, the point being, digital will get you 95% of the way there anyway, using video, because we are social creatures and it's all visual. Seeing you, seeing your body movements, that's where you build trust, because we're visual creatures and we build our impression on you in the first few seconds, right? When we come and see you as a loan officer, we're making snap judgments and we make them very quickly. And you can make that impression over video almost as well as you can in person. So I think every industry should be embracing that as a way to communicate with customers. And this thing, the phone, yeah, and maybe you're going to have a customer that prefers that. So let them make that choice. But when you can, use video because it's much more personal.
Right. So the concept of I want to do business with you. I'm just going to give a quick inventory to all the mortgage professionals watching this. The tech that I have seen most often, I'm seeing more and more people using Calendly to sync up. So scheduling automation to schedule. It's efficient. It's fast. I remember the first time someone asked me to do it years ago, I was kind of like almost offended. Like, dude, you're going to make me schedule my appointment with you? Now the context of that relationship, the first time they did it was a little tone deaf, but now I prefer scheduling meetings with links. It saves me time and it's just less friction. Obviously, I think in the mortgage industry, the application link, you know, the rocket went off. I mean, that's changed forever, and the adoption of that is there. To give advice, it's a mortgage coach link. To create an interactive experience, it's Zoom or a competitor of Zoom's link. I've seen a massive acceleration of BombBomb and other video platforms that will allow you to create a video on a platform, and email, text, social. Anything else come to your mind? Just because you've now spoken in the mortgage industry a lot. I mean, you've spoken at Digital Mortgage, you spoke at Prime Sales Rally, you've spoken to multiple of my clients, and I've had you on here a number of times. What are some other links that you think mortgage professionals should be looking for to enhance the digital connection with families?
Well, one of the things I talked about at a number of events I've done, which usually makes people go, no, is, you know, when's the first paperless mortgage coming? Everything that you can do to drive your organization towards being able to deliver the world's first paperless mortgage, because the company that can do that first will win big in the market, because consumers hate that. I mean, those signing ceremonies where you have to go in with a stack of paper that weighs more than your head, you know, that's just madness. And it's time to we get by that. And of course that requires regulatory reform, but you know, look for partners, look for vendors, have those conversations. You know, the CEOs of your company should be talking to the regulators and saying, hey, it's time. Let's figure this out. What do we have to do? How do we work together? Because you need to figure out how to digitize that process end to end to make it quicker and easier for consumers. The other thought I'll offer is, and at the beginning I said, the fragility of the world is made people feel out of control, and they're going to want to reassert control in ways big and small. That means letting your customers have control over the way you communicate with them, over the process. Let them feel in control, and they will reward you for that.
Love that. Let your customers feel in control. So netting out this, do you agree with this? I had interviewed Dr. JJ Peterson, who is the co-author of Marketing Made Simple with Donald Miller. the author of Story Brand. And I was talking to him like, how can loan officers differentiate? And he said, you know what? Just by communicating clearly what you stand for and who you are, clarity is a competitive advantage. And he went on to say clarity and transparency. Like if you can deliver clarity and transparency, that is the simplest and the most valuable competitive differentiator you can deliver in the market today. Do you agree with that?
I do. And I as well as being a futurist and keynote speaker, I teach communication skills. And I've been steeped in executive storytelling, presentation skills, communication skills for a couple of decades now. So I'm a big believer that it's fundamentally business is all about communication. You have to be able to deliver, of course, but certainly on the sales cycle, customer support cycle, it is all about being transparent, open, honest, because fundamentally business is about trust, and the way you build trust is with communication. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. Oh, you froze on me. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Oh, apparently I'm the host. So if you're still out there, we lost Dave. It's just me talking to myself. And I don't know how to get questions from anybody. So hi, everybody. Let's see if Dave comes back. What else could I tell you about? I'll tell you about my book for a minute. How about that? So there is a whole chapter in there on real estate and construction. So if you're interested in knowing what the future of real estate and construction is and some ideas about how technology will shape that, whether that's artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, sensors, the Internet of Things, it's all in there. Oh, here comes Dave. Hi, Dave. Welcome back.
Brother. I had a little bit of a computer hiccup. It's not every day that my Apple falls apart like that on me.
Oh no. Well, I tried to keep going for you.
I'm sure you didn't have a problem with that.
It said it was still live on Facebook, so I thought I would just keep going for anybody that was out there as best I could. So
yeah, no, it's all good, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I want to be respectful of your time commitment. You committed 30 minutes. I want to have you do big things in the mortgage space, because I think, the perspective you bring, the expertise you bring will help give mortgage companies and the lenders that are my customers, that follow me in social media, that subscribe to our platform, a competitive advantage. And so I would love for mortgage professionals to, one, buy your book. And guys, I really do believe this is one of those books you should be buying in cases and handing out to agents. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your book and some of the things you're doing to just add value, things you're willing to do to help mortgage lenders in today's market.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. So I was actually trying to get into that a little bit while you were lost. So let me talk about it a bit more. So I wrote this book last year, came out in February. I had no idea how relevant it was going to be. As you can see, the title is The Innovation Ultimatum. And the idea there was that this is a book to help people to use the latest technology to drive innovation into every aspect of their business, no matter what industry they're in. So it covers 6 technologies. So artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, autonomous machines, the Internet of Things and sensors, augmented reality, and finally new networking technology. So 5G networks and satellite constellation networks, and how they all come together to enable, it's like a new canvas for people to innovate upon. After you go through each of those technologies, so if you want to learn about those technologies, it's covered in the book, it then goes through some general thoughts on what this means to business, and then some specific thoughts on each industry. So what's this mean to the healthcare industry? What does it mean to the retail industry? What does it mean to the real estate industry? And the idea there is that in each chapter, you don't just read the chapter that's your business. You read each chapter to be inspired by how these technologies are already reshaping other industries, and then steal those ideas with pride. So it was something that was released in February. It turned out that the other big consequence, as COVID-19 being the great accelerator, it's also a pressure cooker for innovation. So as I mentioned, we're going to accelerate innovation. This book suddenly became more relevant than ever. And so I've been hearing stories about people buying literally cases of the book. They come in boxes of 16, and people just giving them away as gifts to clients as a way to say, hey, I appreciate the time we're in. I understand what we're up against. Here's something that can help. So when I think about my role during this really difficult time, my role is to help, right? It's to step up, to do interviews like this with Dave, so I can talk to you, and to do what I can to help guide you with what I know. I know the world of technology and business and innovation, and do what I can to help guide others. So that's what I'm trying to do in this time. If you have virtual gatherings, you're getting people together, you want me to come in and help, you want to have me to share some ideas. If you are not quite sure where to start and you need some consulting time, I offer that. But generally, and I'm trying to show up. My mandate is to help the world build a better future. So if I can help any of you to build a better future for people, which is really what it comes down to, I'd be glad and honored to help.
Got it. So, and how can they reach out to you? What's the best channel or best way to buy your books and reach out to you to have you speak at a virtual event now, and hopefully an in-person event
in the future,
months from now?
Yeah. So you can find me at Bald Futurist, BALD, if you're interested in my book, it's on Amazon. All 5-star reviews right now. It was #1 in the business and finance section for a while. It's like $20 or something like that. You can get a Kindle for much less than that as well. And then if you want me to come speak at your event, again, find me at baldfuturist.com. There's a contact page there, or you can email me at steve@baldfuturist.com, and you can reach me directly that way.
And if someone wanted to buy a case of your books, just buy them on Amazon, or is there a way to buy in bulk?
Probably, I can get you a deal. If you want more than 20 books, I can get you deals. So I can connect you with Porchlight Books. They can do really good deals. I mean, once you get up to a couple hundred books, they're knocking a significant amount off the price. So if you're interested in a bulk deal, either go to Porchlight Books direct and ask what they can do for you, or come to me through that email address, steve@baldfuturist.com, and I'll hook you up.
So, hey, and I'm telling you guys right now, in the mortgage business, this is a great book to read personally, and this is a great book to bring to realtors. I have interviewed a number of top agents that sell over 100 homes annually, and I was asking them, what do you want from your loan officers? And they want you to teach them how to virtually connect with their customers. They want you to help them see where the future is going. And the book also covers autonomous vehicles and the future of housing. I mean, it's just an important book to read. And I think it would be a really special gift to give to people. So Steve, it's Friday. We're about 5 minutes over the time that I asked for, so I'm gonna let you go, brother. Mortgage Coach community, I hope you got value from this. If you did, give us a like down below. If you like the idea of dedicating some time on a Friday end of day around what are we doing super nice. I know Jeremy Forcier has been buying meals for local hospitals and healthcare professionals. So Jeremy Forcier, dude, great leader in the Mortgage Coach community. If you're giving big tips, we want to hear about it. If you're prepaying for services with your local providers, which I hope you're doing, guys. We're mortgage professionals. We're making a lot of money. We're creating a lot of success for our families. Let's make sure we're giving it back to the local businesses every way we can. Steve, thank you, brother.
Thanks for the kind words on the book. I really appreciate it. And yeah.
Virtual fist bump.
Stay strong, everybody. And yeah, be nice to people. This is a time to be as nice as you can. And don't forget all of your single friends who live alone. Make sure you reach out to them extra often.
That's a great idea. I'm on it.